What if instead of just hiring a leader based on a resume and a few interviews, you could really know them first? What if you had a system designed to test someone's character, their grit, their competence over an entire year before you ever gave them a title? Well, one organization has built exactly that. And today, we're going to break down their entire one-year proving ground and see what any of us can learn from a system that's all about building leaders from the inside out.
All right, so we're going to follow this journey in 4 key stages. First, we'll look at the blueprint, like what's the actual DNA they're looking for in a leader. Then we'll step into the proving ground itself, the one-year gauntlet. We're going to spend some real time in what they call the crucible. Trust me, it's the most intense part. And finally, we'll see how it all ends, the final verdict, and what it really takes to pass the ultimate test.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Before you can even think about building or testing for leadership, you have to be crystal clear on what you're looking for. You need a blueprint. You have to define the essential DNA of the leader you actually want on your team.
And this right here, this is the absolute core of their blueprint. It's the very first thing they talk about with any candidate. What's so striking is what isn't here, right? There's no mention of 5-year plans or MBAs or killer sales records. It's all about character. It's a fundamental posture of service, truth, and sacrifice. This one sentence completely reframes the whole conversation about leadership before the process even begins.
Think of these 5 qualities as the load-bearing walls of their entire leadership model. These are the absolute non-negotiables. It's not just about what you can do, it's about who you are. Can you lead by serving others? Do you crumble under pressure or do you stay stable? And how do you handle conflict, with humility or with ego? See, these aren't just buzzwords on a poster. The entire one-year process is basically an elaborate test to see if these traits are for real.
So with that blueprint locked in our minds, let's move to the construction site itself. This is the one-year proving ground, the practical step-by-step pathway designed to see if a candidate truly has that leadership DNA we just talked about.
And this right here, is the core philosophy that flips the whole traditional hiring model on its head. In this system, you don't get a title and then start leading. No, you prove you're a leader first, through a full year of service on the inside. It's this powerful idea of earning the role by demonstrating your character long before you get the fancy title or the corner office. So here's the whole 12-month journey broken down into 3 phases. And you can see the logic here, right? It starts with learning and listening, that's orientation. Then it moves into doing, actually building concrete skills. But look at that, the entire second half of the year is all about owning it. It's about demonstrating true leadership by tackling the toughest challenges, like raising money and building a long-term strategy.
Now, what's really cool is how all these pieces work together. Serving on a board committee teaches you how the whole organization works. Ethics training, well, that sets the guardrails. Mentorship gives you guidance from people who've been there. But that 4th one, developing a brand new project from scratch, that's it. That's the ultimate stress test where everything else comes together.
And that brings us to the absolute heart of this entire process, months 6 through 9. They call this the crucible, and for a very good reason. This is where all the theory stops, and the real, high-stakes test begins. It all comes down to one question. Can this person actually turn a noble vision into a real-world, viable plan?
Just let that sink in for a second. You have 9 months. While you're still learning the ropes and serving on a board, you also have to create something new from absolutely nothing. And not just a cool idea, but a fully formed, fundable initiative. The pressure is massive, and that's intentional, because it's designed to reveal what you're really made of when things get hard.
So it all starts out pretty simply. In the first few months, the candidate just puts together a basic concept paper. We're talking high-level stuff here. What's the problem? Who are we trying to help? What's the big idea? It's the 30,000-foot view.
But then, bam! By month 6, the pressure ramps up in a huge way. That simple concept has to become a full-blown project proposal. This is where the vision meets the spreadsheet. We're talking detailed work plans, timelines, budgets, risk analysis, the whole shebang. It's a test of whether you can translate a dream into a deadline.
And just when you think you've done the hardest part, by month 9, you hit the final boss. How are you going to pay for all this? The candidate has to develop a detailed funding strategy, finding specific grants or donors. This proves you're not just a dreamer, you're a builder who can actually attract the resources to make things happen.
And just look at the level of detail we're talking about here. This is no joke. Under scope, you need a granular work plan. Under resources, you have to budget for every single thing.
Viability means you've stress-tested your own idea for weaknesses. And impact means you know exactly what success looks like and how to measure it. This is a massive test of stewardship and strategic thinking.
Okay, so the candidate has survived the crucible. They've completed the year-long journey and built the plan. But does that mean they get the job? Well, not so fast. Let's find out how the final verdict is actually reached.
And this is maybe one of the most important parts of the whole system. Just because you finish the year doesn't mean you automatically get the role. It's a prerequisite, not a promise. And why is that so important? Because it ensures this whole thing remains a true proving ground. It holds everyone, the candidate and the organization, to the highest standard, right up until the very end.
So the final decision really boils down to these three big questions, and you can see how they tie everything we've talked about together. First, character. After a full year, did they consistently show humility and integrity? Second, competency. Was the project proposal actually good and well thought out? And third, sustainability. Is the funding plan realistic? It's a complete evaluation of the person, the plan, and the provision.
Now, there's one more cultural test that runs through the entire year, and it goes right back to that idea of humility in conflict. How does this person handle disagreement? Well, they don't leave it to chance. They have this specific, structured process that acts as a cultural safety net. The goal is never about winning an argument. It's about restoring relationships. And for a leader, that's everything.
And the process itself is incredibly clear, and it's designed to stop gossip and drama before it starts. Step 1, you go directly to the person first, one-on-one. If that doesn't work, you bring a witness or two. Leadership is the last resort, not the first panicked phone call. A system like this demands maturity and personal responsibility from everybody, especially from people who want to lead.
So it all comes back to that one core principle. Leadership is proven through service. This organization built an entire incredible system around that belief. And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If you were to build a proving ground in your own world, your company, your team, your community, what would you test for? And what would it look like?